this one and this one, drag them over. Seems good enough. Notice that of the two clips we brought in, only one has actually got an audio track. And you can see that's reflected over here. The ballerina one has got an audio track. The drone landing one is just video. If I want to move the audio around, it's actually kind of glued to the video track. But I can disable it by unlinking. It turns it into its own distinct entity there. So I probably don't want that. Just going to get rid. If we scrub through, it's quite a long clip this. It's about what, 20 and a bit. Let's cut it down. So as I went over before, there's a couple of different ways to change the length of a clip that you're using. One of which would be double click, do it in the slug viewer up here with your I, O and grab. So that's given us a shortened version. You can do it while you're in the timeline as well, because you know you're going to be wanting to make changes to the things that you've got here. You know, you might do I and O, bring this over and then say, you know what, I want to change the length of that slightly. A couple of different ways. You can grab the left or rightmost part to change where it begins. Another way would be to use the razor tool. Shortcut for that is C. It gives you this, where you literally cut a slice and can then remove a part or two. Let's make that back into one. Notice how you can stack video on top of other video. So you know, this drone landing one, it gets to this point and it carries on playing in the background, even though this one's on top. If you've used Photoshop, After Effects, or pretty much any other visual app, you'll know a little bit about blending modes. I can make a change to the ballerina clip. Where is it? It's under opacity. And I can change its blending mode, which basically says, you know what, for the light and dark or desaturated or more saturated colors, we want that to have an effect on the underlying video. If I were to use screen, it would take the lightness in the ballerina clip and either make that more or less visible based on how bright it is. The multiplier would kind of be the opposite. Overlay's a good one. Does a bit of both. You know, there's a whole science between about all this stuff. This is essentially color maths. The computer is doing some maths based on the color values for each pixel in that video. And you can have a lot of fun doing stuff. You can get some pretty cool effects. You know, that's maybe not something that I would submit for my A-level coursework, but it's pretty cool. So we've got one clip. Let's add something and make a transition. Let's bring our ballerina back in. Put her there. If I come over to the effects pane over here, you've got this whole strip along the right hand side of Premiere. If you click on the title of each of these, it sort of fans out. We're interested in effects because the transitions are kept with the effects. There's a load of stuff in here and you can browse through and do stuff, but if you kind of know what you're after, there we go. You know, you might be looking for a fade. It's actually called a dissolve. Let's grab one of these. We pick it up and we drag it all the way over to our clip. When you put it on top, at the beginning or the end of a clip, you can let go. And now if I zoom in, this is our cross dissolve. So our underneath clip is here. When we get to this point, our ballerina clip will start to dissolve in. Notice as we go forward frame by frame, it becomes more and more visible. What you can do is click on that cross dissolve, and just like a normal clip, you can extend it out so that it takes longer for the ballerina clip to fade in. And the same goes for ending a clip. Let's do dip to black. We can drop that in here. Zoom in a bit. And let's make that one happen quicker. So it will really quickly fade to black. Zoom it back out. Maybe I want to add a backing song or a voiceover or something. I've got a couple of audio files. They've probably got nothing to do with drones or ballerinas, but we'll add them in anyway. So first of all, I want to get rid of the audio from this. It looks like there's nothing there, but I just want to keep it tidy. So I'm going to right click, unlink. That unlinks the audio from the video. And I'll just get rid of that. Go to my audio bin, grab one of these guys, drop them in. Doesn't so much matter what audio track you use, because in this case it's the only audio I'm using. For your project you might have actors talking, and the audio will have come from either the cameras you're using or an audio recorder. You might also have some background noises that you're adding in post-production. All of these things are going to be appearing on their own tracks. But in my case it's just this one. So if I go back, it's a drone landing that sounds like a street. Good stuff. In fact, let's drop that in. C for the razor. See that line that appears there? This is pretty useful. If you get to the beginning or end of any entity on the timeline, then the snap feature will kick in. And Premiere will helpfully say, hey, I can make this audio, if you like, stop at the exact same time as the video. So that should be dead on. There we go. It's useful. And we've got access to audio tools if we need them as well. If you know anything about audio production, then you'll be happy with you got things like compressors and reverbs in here. It's all pretty standard audio tools. You can also flip things from left to right stereo wise, which can be pretty useful if you've got like a mono sound and you want it to appear on the left of the screen to go with what's happening in your visuals. You can also mute and solo tracks. You can also mute and solo video tracks. So if I really want to concentrate on the ballerina clip, I can, just like a Photoshop player, just disable the drone landing clip. So this time when she fades in, she's going to fade in from black, because there's no video track behind her, it's hidden. Turn this back on. There it is. So let's say this is my lovely project that I have made. I want to send it to my teacher